What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this is the first episode of my new Albums of the Week series. Pretty much, I'm gonna just review albums that I've heard for this week, and of course, remember, don't take any of these reviews too serious. This is something I'm doing just for fun. Pretty much, I'm gonna just pick albums that I've heard throughout this week, and that I just want to talk about. And no, this doesn't mean I'm gonna review every single album I listen to, because I go through a lot of albums every week, okay? Yeah. Alright. And before we head on, I want to tell you guys to go follow me on all my social medias, Train David or some variation of Train David, everywhere. And thank you to W.GG for being a partner of this channel, right? Hashtag ad, of course, right? And if I remember the link should be in the series. Please use it, support it. It supports me. It supports the channel, right? Eventually, I plan to upgrade to a PC, so I can edit better on this series and also get a better mic someday. But yeah, as of now, right? Check out w.gg through the link in the description, or if you just check them out by looking up their website, use code TrainDavid at checkout for a discount for any products that you decide to purchase. And when you insert my code, you'll be supporting me and the channel out. Yeah. Alright, so the first album I'm gonna go over is The Bigger Artist by A Boogie with the Hoodie. Also, was his debut album. Once again, remember, I am not a professional and I'm doing this just for fun. Do not take any of the reviews that I do in this video too serious. Alright, so this album was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. And I found it kind of funny because at some point the lyrics, which I for sure misheard, because I swear he said during one of the songs, I went back and I couldn't find it, so I for sure misheard it, right? But I swear I heard him say, everyone being a toaster. Once again, I probably heard that part wrong, but I don't mind because it makes, the album a little bit more memorable for that, right? And the beats, they were all good, and they didn't do anything too extra like some albums do. A lot of albums try to make their beats a little bit extra. My favorite songs from this album are for sure Drowning and Saying A. I know they're one of the popular ones, or mainstream ones, but they are both the type of music I like to listen to a lot. And if you have not listened to this album yet, I would definitely recommend that you give this album to listen. It's worth it, and I think you would enjoy it. Next is the world-known album Starboy by The Weeknd. Yes, I have heard to this album before. This is my first time, right? I've heard it before this week, but that was when I was way younger, so I decided to give it another listen, and it was definitely worth it. This is oh my god, I can't speak. This is for sure one of the albums that makes The Weeknd one of the best artists of our generation. And if you don't think that The Weeknd is one of the best artists from this generation, well, not this generation, but you know what I mean, from his generation of artists. If you don't think The Weeknd is up there, I don't want to know what type of music you listen to, right? I also I even started singing during some of the songs, which goes to show how big this album was. Because obviously, when last I heard it, I was super young, and now here I am giving it another listen, and I still remember some of the what's it called some of the albums. No, dumbass, some of the songs, and it shows how big the album was for him. My top songs for this album are Starboy featuring Daft Punk, and what was the name of it? Um, oh my goodness. And Die For You. Again, this is pretty much one of those albums that everyone has heard, and if you for some reason haven't, you need to listen to it. I promise you, if you decide to listen to any of these, if you decide not to listen to any album from this video, I would say please at least listen to this one, because this one is worth your time. Next up is by the King of Pop, Micheal Jackson's Got to Be There 2013 remastered version, because that's one up on Apple Music. Also, this was Micheal Jackson's first solo album, released back in 1972 when he was just 13 years old. And well, yes, Micheal Jackson is the king of pop. I'm not gonna lie, most of these songs are not my type of music. They are not the type of stuff I would normally listen to. Once again, your reminder that these are my opinions and not to take them too serious. I'm not saying the songs are bad. I'm just saying that they are not the type I would listen to outside of this album. The song I like the best goes to Rockin' Robin, mainly because it reminded me when my elementary school music teacher would have us sing this song. Album is also on the shorter side, only at 35 minutes. So if you have the time, I'd say you should listen to it and make your own opinion on it. Next up is an artist I got recommended by someone on TikTok. I was scrolling and it gave me a list of a lot of artists who are like on the smaller side of things. So I decided to check her out. Her name is babebee, and the album I decided to put in the video for this week is Portal of My Soul. This album is a great listen and also on the shorter side of only being 30 minutes. If you're into artists like beabadoobee, I definitely recommend Baby. I did listen to another album of hers, but for this week's I decided to go with this one as it's the one I think it was better. The other one's name was Mixed Over Matter. Great listen as well. I just think that Portal of My Soul was, the better one. And the best song of this album for me goes to Angels featuring Ocean View. And speaking of Biba Doobie, the next album I'm gonna review for this week, or not really reviews, but just give my opinion on, I guess. Well, I think that's a definition of review. I don't know, but for this week's, it is Loveworm. This album is definitely one of her bigger ones, as this was my first time listening to it, but I recognize most of the songs on the album. Once again, it is on the shorter side of length, as it is only 26 minutes, so you have no excuse not to listen to this album. Multiple songs on here are great, but in my opinion, Apple Cider and 1999 are the best ones on it. Even if this isn't your type of music, you should still listen to this album as it's a great listen. And once again, it is on the shorter side of only 26 minutes. So if you don't have like 25 minutes to spare, you know that's I want to say sad, but it's just an excuse that shouldn't exist because I feel like everyone has at least 26 minutes. And if you've heard some of these other albums, I know you for sure have the time for the 26 minutes. Yeah. Why did I repeat 26 minutes 4 times? That's crazy. Next is Metro Boomin's album, Heroes and Villains, Heroes version. I don't know what the different versions are. I tried looking for a villains version, I couldn't find it, or at least not on Apple Music. And not much to say other than, of course, it's going to be an amazing album. This is a Metro album, right? It's going to be amazing. And all of the features on the album made it so much more better, I'm not gonna lie. And not much else I could say other than it's a Metro classic, or at least it'll be considered one of his classics in a couple years. And if you haven't listened to it, what are you doing? There are many good songs on this album, but my favorites definitely have to be Superhero, Trance, and Creepin'. Alright, so this one, I heard the night it released. Juice WRLD's Legends Never Die 5-year anniversary. And yes, you can immediately tell. Sadly, it was another money grab by his label. And yes, I did fall victim to it because I did purchase the vinyl record, right? But it's definitely another one of those, money grabs that his label does. I'm gonna forget the script for this part. This is my genuine opinion on this, right? Because in the script, I should be a lot more humble. No, fuck that, right? I hate his label so much. There are so many amazing songs that he has unreleased. If you haven't listened to him, download Spotify, look up Juice WRLD Unreleased. You will see that there's so many good songs. But what did they do? They added 2 songs that have previously been released, and then they added the XXX Tentacion called The Way, right? The song was okay, but it just X saying, "Do you know the way? Do you know the way?" For like 80% of the song, Juice WRLD sings like in 20%, right? It's just that's not it. And then yes, they did release what's it called? All Life Long, right? Was it All Life Long? Hold up. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes, All Life Long. I had to relook at the script. But All Life Long, this one. I'm so happy that this song is now finally released so I can listen to it on Apple Music and just, listen to it offline whenever the hell I want, right? But I'll read that as, seriously, he has such a big amount, like, how do I say this? Oh my god. He has a lot of many good unreleased songs that are just never going to be released because his label is just doing tarnishing his stuff, right? Who I forgot the guy's name, but he was apparently Juice WRLD's best friend. He's just tarnishing his legacy, right? Like, look, the Legends Never Die album, like, alone, I love this album, right? This album found me during one of the lowest points in my life, and it just helped me, keep moving, keep well, not like stay alive, because that makes it sound like I was gonna, jump off a bridge, right? But I guess it's just encouraged me. I don't know how to explain it well, right? Sounds corny, I know, but I don't care, right? So the Legends Never Die album will always have a special place in my heart, just because of where it found me at my life. But this, the 5 year anniversary, is an embarrassment to Juice WRLD's legacy, and like I hope that there's a way that they can just move away from his label and is given either to his family or to another artist that will take care of his legacy. They could give it to the Kid Leroy, right? Marshmallow, I think is another one. I think they could give it to. They could give it to what's it called? I think Ski Mask. I don't know. I'm Alright, I probably should have redone this part of the script so I could have been more informed for you. But they need to move out of this label. The label is ruining Juice WRLD's legacy. Right. The reason most people didn't even know this was dropping. Right. Unless you follow Juice WRLD and unless you're into Juice WRLD music, you had no idea this album was dropping. Because when I posted it on my story, so many people, not so many, making it sound like I'm fucking multi-popular out here on Long Island, but like a good amount of my friends were like, wait, there's a new album. But once again, just sadly, I'd say definitely listen to the original one. If you want to listen to Legends Never Die, just listen to the original one. Right, you're not missing out much. The other two songs that they added, the other two songs that were added are hold up. Where okay, hold up. I need to open up Apple Music. I didn't write the ones that released. Oh my gosh, I made myself a script so this wouldn't happen where I'm blanking out. I'm still blanking out. Where? Why? Oh my god, I'm blanking out so badly right now. In my head, face to face, these are two songs that were previously released. Right, they're okay songs, and I could see what they're trying to do because these songs are on the smaller side for Juice WRLD songs. But at the same time, just you shouldn't have done that. Right, there's no reason to add just two extra songs to it. If you do want to listen to it, like I said, you're wasting your time because the only good song that they added was, All Life Long. Because the way it's just actually, like, obviously, rest in peace to both of them. But it's just X saying, do you know the way, right? This isn't, what, 2016, 2017, 2018 with, that one guy, Knuckles, whatever his name was, asking you, do you know the way? No, that's pretty much what X sounded like the entire song, and then the other two have already been released. So there's a good chance that you may have already heard them, right? Like I said, if you want to listen to this album, listen to the original one. Add All Life Long to like the very end, because All Life Long, it would have been such a perfect ending for this album, or The Party Never Ends. There's something I've seen online as well, where people wish this was the ending for The Party Never Ends, because it's such a good song. But sadly, his label doesn't care. They don't care about the fans. They care about the money. And as long as Juice WRLD is stuck to this label, we won't be getting any of his good unreleased songs. Like I said, he has so many good unreleased songs. Oh my god, why did you have to send a notification? He has so many good unreleased songs. Go listen to them on SoundCloud, Spotify, not Apple Music, because you can't find any on Apple Music. Yeah, just sadly, don't waste your time with this album. Listen to the original version. Alright, we back to the script on this one. Another one that I heard the night of release was by Clips, Pusha T, and Malice called Let God Sort Him Out. What immediately comes to mind is how good the Kendrick Lamar and Tyler the Creator features are. I loved both of them. Also, this album does give off, like Tyler vibes, which low-key makes sense because he did produce one of the songs called POV, or at least that's the stuff that I saw online. I was searching stuff about the album up. But don't go into the album thinking it's a Tyler album. Go into the album thinking it's a Clips album and Pharrell Williams album. Because yeah, Pharrell Williams is also on this album, but he's in many of the songs, but he didn't help make the album. Right? If you look it up anywhere, it's credited for Clips, Pusha T, and Malice. But yeah, overall, it's a great album. You know, yeah, I personally, I don't think it had any misses. That's at least in my opinion. Obviously, for me, the best song, right? For me, the best song of all of it was POV featuring Tyler the Creator. But if you argued for a different song, I definitely wouldn't argue against you, right? Because, you know, all of the songs on this album were good. Zero misses. 100% worth the listen if you haven't listened to it already. Like I said, it gives off Tyler the Creator type vibes, but don't go in thinking it's a Tyler the Creator album, right? Go in thinking it's a Clips, you know, plus the T Malice album, right? I'm just repeating myself because I want to make this point clear in the script because I know no one's gonna watch this video, or if they do, they ain't making it this far, right? But just in case someone does, don't go listening to it thinking, oh, it's gonna be a Tyler the Creator album. No, it just gives off those type of vibes. And again, we have another Weeknd album. This one is the last album under this persona, and the album's name is Hurry Up Tomorrow. So before the review, the reason he is retiring the Weeknd persona is due to him feeling that there is nothing else he can do with him creative wise. So instead, he will be going by his birth name of Abel Tesfaye, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I'm excited to see what he does with, you know, his future projects now that he's no longer doing the Weeknd persona. But for this album, it was amazing. I for sure think that this might win album of the year for 2025. So far, it's been the best album released in 2025. So there has been other good albums that I've enjoyed this year. Like I said, like the new Clips album. I loved Dopamine. You know, what's that album's name? 111 Expantera by Forza Regida, right? But you know, I think overall this is probably going to win, you know, album of the year. And you know, this was a perfect album to end off the persona with, and genuinely will be considered a classic in a couple of years. Take Me Back to LA was definitely my favorite song due to how well the beat and lyrics went together. This album also features artists from Travis Scott to Playboy Cardi, which also made the album just that much bit better. This is one of those albums that if you haven't listened, you need to listen to it. But like I said, I consider it a album of the year contender, if not the album of the year winner. Right? We still have, you know, the later half portion of 2025 left, but as of right now, nothing competes except Carly Glitchers that think music is good. Music has good songs. Yeah, album of the year? Hell no. Alright, next is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. I don't have much to say for this other than it's a greatly produced album and her voice fits perfectly with every single one of the beats. But one thing, the lyrics are insane. Before I go into the lyrics, which I don't really go into the lyrics because I don't think I want to say these on YouTube, the Lunch and the Dinner are both incredible songs and are definitely worth the listen, letting you know that that the lyrics are still insane but for these songs, but trust, they are still great songs. And as I was listening to it again, I was reading the lyrics this time, and now I understand why people are saying it's Billy, you know, being lesbian. Because when you listen to the song and read the lyrics, it's just Billie Eilish talking about how she's eating another girl. And last but certainly not least is Jackboys 2 by Jackboys and Travis Scott. One thing before I go into this, I am going to be reviewing this album again for next week's video, just because recency bias is going through the roof. I love this album. I think it's contender for album of the year. I still do think Hurry Up Tomorrow is going to win album of the year. But Jackboys 2 is such a good album. Right, and the second reason for me having to review it next week is because the lyrics aren't out on Apple Music. And then this morning, well, it was released a couple hours ago at the time of recording this dumbass. Of course, it's not going to be up yet. But I'm hoping that sometime, you know, this week they add the lyrics to Apple Music so I can re-listen to the entire album and look at the lyrics. Because I like looking at the lyrics, right? I listen to these albums 2 times usually. I'll listen to it, you know, not paying attention to see if anything grabs my attention. Then I'll listen to it while looking at the lyrics. You know, this album was definitely good. It is, you know, well, not is, because that means it was not be out yet. Definitely was one of the most highly anticipated albums of this year. I think this one was more highly anticipated than the Weeknd's album earlier this year when everyone was talking about that. I think this one was just a little bit more, you know, what people wanted to listen to the most, right? I can't wait to see what Travis does decide to do with his solo album because there are rumors that he's releasing a solo album later this year. I don't know, maybe that's just fans being fans, right? So don't quote me on that. But there are rumors that he's going to be releasing a solo album this year, which, knowing Travis, that's not happening, bro. He is not releasing for another 7 years, bro. But he's still going to be on top of all them charts. For me, I definitely like PBT. A lot of people don't like the song online. I see where they're coming from. I just grew up listening to music that sounds similar to this, right? So maybe that's why I liked it, right? Not like the exact same type of beat, but like similar-ish music. So I liked it. I think it was a good song, and obviously 2000 Excursion, a best song on the album, right? You could say the one, I forgot the name, but there's a song where he did it where Playboy Cardi was also featured. That song was also great. People are hating on it because it's Cardi because he's featured, but low key that song was also amazing. I just can't remember the name of it right now. But yeah, I'm gonna re-review this album. If I remember, this should be the first one in the next video, so that way I'm not like taking up extra unnecessary time when I already talked about it in this video. But yeah, if you haven't listened to it, which I'll let it slide because I am releasing this video on drop date. I'll I'll let that slide. But if you're watching this like a couple weeks, months, or for some reason years after, what are you doing? This album's great. I love it. You should go listen to it. What stop wasting your no, like actually click off the video and go listen to Jackboys too. It's 1 hour. You got that. You got nothing better to do. You're watching this video. I know you don't got anything better to do because why are you watching my video? But thank you for watching my video for real. I appreciate that, especially since it's like the 20ish minute mark. So you sat there and listened to my awful opinions. But yeah, I can't wait to see if like in the future I do decide to do another Jackboys album, another Jackboys project. I would be excited if they do this to do a Jackboys 3 if they ever do decide on that. But yeah, definitely worth the listen. The features were great. Right. People online were like a little worried about the Gorillas feature, but I think she did do good on the song that she was featured on. And yeah, you know, great album. But like I said, I'm gonna review it again next week because Recency Bias is going crazy right now. Okay, here are honorable mentions. These are albums that I also heard throughout this week, but I just feel like I don't have a strong enough opinion for or against it where I just want to include a video, but I still wanted to mention it because I think these are albums that you should give a listen to and see if you can come up with your own opinion. Some of these are from before weeks, but that's mainly because I forgot to keep a track of what albums I listened to this week, which going forward I am going to start doing that. But yeah, some of the honorable mentions goes to By the Way, Deluxe Edition by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Search by NF, Now All Heroes Wear Capes by Metro Boomin, Clouds and Hope by NF as well, Artist by Boogie with the Hoodie, Mind Over Matter by babebee, Retired from Sad, New Career in Business by Mitski, Beauty Behind the Madness by The Weeknd, um, My Dear Melancholy by The Weeknd, um, I don't, I don't like shit. I don't go outside. Right by Earl Sweatshirt. I'm with you by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. Swag by Justin Bieber. After Hours by The Weeknd. Metro Boomin soundtrack. I didn't include this one because it's more like a soundtrack when I started thinking about it. It is under albums, but in reality it's more of a soundtrack. But Metro Boomin's album that he did for Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse or Into Spider-Verse, it's one of the two. The Getaway by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and yeah, that's it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Right? Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know something I hadn't really tried before, especially with like this whole script part, because I'm trying to read my script, but at the same time my thoughts are like giving me other things. I keep stuttering, even the whole point of having a stutter. I mean, the whole point of having the script. Oh my god, the whole point of having the script was I wouldn't stutter. Yeah, I feel like I stuttered more, but and also the entire point of the script is so what I feel immediately after listening to the album, I can just write it down. Then if I feel anything after reading that part, like I did for Legends Never Die, I'll just go on a rant and just forget the script for that album. Like I said, it's not something I haven't tried before, but I love listening to music and I like making YouTube videos. I don't do it as often as I should, and I know my record shows that with becoming a monthly YouTuber. But hopefully this will allow me to keep up a little bit more up to date. Once again, I am not a professional. Don't take anything I said too serious. If anything about this made you mad, made you be like, oh no, that's not album of the year, music's album of the year, or I don't know, fucking the weekend is terrible. He's not, you just have opinions that are against me. You gotta remember, everyone's music opinions are super subjective, and everyone will have a different opinion on the same album, on their music. Everyone has their own music choice. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in next week's episode of Train David's Albums of the Week Part 2. Bye bye. Also, make sure to support the channel out and check out the link in the description if I remember to put it. The w.gg, and then use code TrainDavid in the checkout page for a discount. And yeah, hashtag ad. Alright, good night, Girl Scouts.